Hello children, I hope you are all happy and safe. Welcome to this special English hour. Here, every day, we will learn something new in a fun and interesting way. Are you ready to have fun? Okay, then please come closer to the TV and listen to me carefully. Children, while learning a language, it is very important that we keep learning new words. I would now like to share with you a few new words and request you to listen to me carefully and note these words down in your notebook. We will come across these words that we are going to read today. Please try to guess their meaning. The first word is presence. 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 The second word is strange. 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 The third word is unbelievable. 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 The fourth word is tripped. 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 The fifth word is obstacle. 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 So children, the 5 new words that I just mentioned, I would like to repeat them for you. Presence, strange, unbelievable, tripped, obstacle. Please look out for these words in the passage while we read it and try to guess their meaning. Children, now that we have spoken so much about keeping our environment clean, let's also read an interesting lesson on it. If you have a textbook, please open to page number 33. We will be reading the lesson, A Lesson for All. Children, while I am reading, please point to the words as I read. If you don't have a textbook, please look at your TV screens and listen to me carefully. Children, come, let's have a look at the characters of the story. This is the newspaper boy, the milkman, the hawker, school bus driver, Dr. Sawant, Mrs. Patel, a housewife, Mr. Desai, a businessman, mayor of the town, Mrs. Joshi, a housewife, Nidhi and Madhu, Mrs. Joshi's daughters, school-going girls. These are all the humans in the story. Now, let's have a look at the animals. This is the rabbit, deer, peacock, squirrel, bear, birds, and tortoise. We will read about them in the lesson. A lesson for all. A city street, early in the morning. The street is littered with plastic bags, cartons, tins, cans, broken glass, old tires, waste paper balls, bags and other garbage. Enter Mr. Desai. Mr. Desai, looking out into the distance. Why hasn't the newspaper been delivered on time today? It's 9 o'clock. Almost time to leave for my office. Looks out again. Let me ask the Patels if they have received their copy. Goes into the wings and returns with Mrs. Patel. No, Mr. Desai, the newspaper boy hasn't delivered the papers as yet. Nor has our milkman turned up. Mr. Patel is so grumpy. He is waiting for his morning cup of tea. Mr. Desai, very strange. And look, the state the street is in is simply shocking. Mrs. Patel, my word, what's this? Where did all this litter and garbage come from? The milkman has not turned up. Milk is not delivered. The newspaper man has also not shown up. The newspaper is not delivered. The streets are littered with garbage. Mr. Desai and Mrs. Patel are discussing this. Enter Mrs. Joshi with her daughters. Mr. Desai, I returned rather late from the office last night and the street was bare then. How did all this rubbish gather here overnight? Suddenly, Madhu falls and injures her foot, gives out a cry of pain. Madhu, oh, ouch, my foot, it hurts. Mrs. Joshi, oh dear, Madhu, are you all right? Oh no, her foot is bleeding so much. Somebody help, please. Mrs. Patel, Nidhi, run and fetch Dr. Mrs. Sawant. Request her to come quickly. Your sister has cut herself on a broken glass bottle. Mr. Desai, I'll get some ice at once. Mrs. Joshi, almost in tears. My poor child, how did all this broken glass happen to be here? Mrs. Patel, look around. It's not just broken glass, but... Mrs. Joshi, dear me, what nonsense this is. Unbelievable. Where has all this rubbish come from? Dr. Sawant enters with Nidhi. She has a doctor's kit. Dr. Sawant, let me see the wound. Mr. Desai, here's some ice to stop the bleeding. Dr. Sawant, what presence of mind! Good. Applies ice on the wound. There now, it has stopped bleeding. It's a deep cut. I'll dress the wound and she will be fine. Mrs. Joshi, thank you, doctor. So kind of you to come at once. But I am going to complain to the mayor. Have you seen the rubbish and the litter on the road? Dr. Sawant, oh, it's a mystery. All this garbage was not there yesterday. And now, just look. Mrs. Joshi has two daughters, Nidhi and Madhu. Madhu injured her foot over a piece of glass. Dr. Sawant attended to the wound and immediately treated it. Now, Mr. Desai, Mrs. Joshi, Mrs. Patel and Dr. Sawant were all discussing how so much garbage was collected on the streets. Enter newspaper boy, milkman, hawker, etc. Mrs. Patel, the mayor must not have seen. Look, the newspaper boy. He is limping. And the milkman at last. To the milkman. Why? Where's your bicycle? And why are you so late? Milkman. The tires were punctured. I had to come walking all the way with this heavy milk can. Newspaper boy. And I tripped over an old tire and sprained my foot. It was quite dark early this morning. I did not expect an old tire right in the middle of the road. Mr. Desai, I see. Something must be done. Why were the newspaper boy and the milkman late? The newspaper boy left early in the morning from his house. It was very dark at that time. He did not expect an old tire to be lying in the middle of the road. He tripped over the old tire and sprained his foot. He came in limping to Mr. Desai. That's why he got late. The milkman also found that his cycle tires were punctured. So he had to come carrying the heavy can of milk in his hand. That is why he was late. Why were the newspaper boy and milkman late? The newspaper boy left home early in the morning. It was dark at that time. He missed seeing an old tire lying in the middle of the road and he tripped over it and sprained his foot. That's why he was late. The milkman found that both the tires of his bicycle were punctured. So he had to come carrying the milk can all by himself. The milkman and the newspaper boy both were late because the street was littered with lots of garbage. Bus driver enters carefully, avoiding the litter. Bus driver, Mrs. Joshi, I am sorry. I can't drive the school bus today. On every road and street, there is nothing but litter. It looks like an obstacle race course. Mrs. Joshi, I know I am going to send for the mayor at once. He must see this. Our children are not safe with all these dangerous broken objects around. Hawker, no one is safe. Let's request the mayor to come and see for himself. Mr. Desai, I'll fetch him. Exit. What does the bus driver tell Mrs. Joshi? The bus driver tells Mrs. Joshi that all the streets in the city are littered with garbage. He would not be able to drive the school bus over these roads. It almost felt like an obstacle race. There were too many obstacles on his path. Mrs. Joshi also said that she found the streets very unsafe for their children. Mr. Desai went to bring the mayor to show him this state of the city. Enters again with the mayor and his retinue. Mayor, annoyed. Unbelievable. Shocking. How do you expect people to walk through all this rubbish? Why don't you all dispose of the garbage properly? Mrs. Patel, but we do, Mr. Mayor. We give our garbage to the garbage collector. Mrs. Joshi, yes, we don't litter our streets like this. Mr. Desai, or we take it to the dumping ground near the riverside, away from here. The rains then wash it away. Mrs. Patel, or the winds blow it away. Mayor, then how did it come back into the town overnight? Bus driver, that's the problem. Nobody knows how it got here. It's a mystery. Newspaper boy, it looks like someone has done it purposely to spoil our town. Mrs. Joshi, and endanger our children. Milkman, and hinder our daily work. Mayor, we will not tolerate this. I must look into this. I will not spare anyone. Who has done this? Who is responsible for this mess? The mayor looked annoyed, looking at all the streets littered with garbage. He asks everyone standing there, why do you all litter the streets like this? Why don't you all dispose the garbage correctly? Everyone explained to him that they dispose the garbage and give it to the garbage collector, or they dispose it off near the riverside, and the water of the river takes the garbage away. The mayor then wonders that how did all the garbage come on the streets then? They all try to solve this question. Enter animals who have been hiding. Deer, rabbit, birds, squirrel, bear, etc. Each one comes out from its cover turn by turn, saying, Animals, we are responsible. We have brought in all the litter. We have spread the garbage all over the town. Dear, yes, we confess, we did so. Mayor, what? You? How dare you? Mrs. Joshi, What right do you have to spoil our town and make it unsafe to move around? Bear comes forward. We have only brought back to you what belongs to you. Tell me, what right do you have to dump all this in the forest? The forest is our dwelling place. Birds, our trees are dying and vanishing because of you. Where can we roost or build nests? Squirrel, and where can we live? Rabbit, you are worried about Madhu being injured because of sharp broken glass. Don't our young ones get injured too? Dear, yes, and we have no doctor to dress their wounds. Our young ones simply die. Madhu, Nidhi, oh no, how shocking, terrible. Tortoise, all the fish in the rivers and lakes die because of the waste dumped in water. How we suffer because of the chemicals and poisons. Bear, and so many animals who drink the polluted water fall ill and die. Dr. Sawant, yes, it is unfortunately true. Peacock, so we called a meeting and decided to return all your dangerous stuff back to you. We don't need it. Bear, anyway, we were not as cruel as you are. We have only returned the garbage. We have not poured chemicals and poisons on your settlements. Mayor, I see. You animals and birds do have a point. You are right. For years, humans have been dumping forests with garbage. They have been poisoning rivers. All the animals were very upset with this. The forests were unsafe for the animals and for their young ones. They decided to take matters in their hand and they brought the garbage back to the city. When the mayor asked who was responsible for littering the streets, the animals came out from their hiding places and confessed to what they had done. Mr. Desai, you have opened our eyes. We should not dump rubbish in the forests or rivers or lakes. Mrs. Patel, but where can we dispose of it? Mayor, if you all agree to sort out the litter, I will arrange for it to be collected separately. Then some of it can go for processing and some for recycling. Mrs. Joshi, good idea. Let's do just that. Mayor, let us save our Mother Earth from further harm. To the animals, thank you, dear animals, for teaching us a lesson so effectively. We assure you we will not pollute or spoil your homes. I shall even warn those who go there for picnics. Some animals, thank you, Mr. Mayor, thank you. They return. Mayor, self-help is the best help. Let's clear this up. All, including the mayor, start picking up the litter. Everyone gathered there realized their mistake. They decided to start segregating their waste. One part of the waste would go for recycling and the other would be processed correctly. The mayor and the people decided to clear the litter that was all over the streets and promised the animals that they would not dump garbage again in the forests. The animals also thanked the mayor and returned back to the forest. So children, in this lesson, what did we learn? We learned that like all of us, even animals have a home. They too have a family. And like we don't like our streets to be littered, even animals don't appreciate if their forests are polluted and their rivers are poisoned. We must take care of forests and our rivers. They are all our natural resources. We must protect them and take care of them. Children, I hope you liked this lesson and will keep this message with you. Children, till we meet next time, please take care. Bye-bye and stay safe.